All right. Good morning, KW Prosperity. It is Matt and Mary Beth here with you today for our final shift call. We'll be getting some ahas from some very special guests today. Thank you, Pat Lowe, Kieran Smithling, and Eric Melnikoff for joining us today. Thank you very much. So let's dive right into
Thanks for having us.
Thank you. Mary Beth, over the last 2-3 weeks, we've really been digging into the Shift book, and yesterday was our final session, The Gift of Shift. And, I think most of the viewers, whether on here or whether on Facebook Live, they've heard a lot from Mary Beth and myself. So today we really want to hear from some of the leaders in our office as to how they responded to the materials we covered or just what they're experiencing in the market today. Before I turn the floor over, I just want to kind of sum up the last 2 weeks of our calls by just identifying what the 12 shift tactics were, because this might be a good jumping off point for some of you to share some of your ahas from. So tactic number 1 was get real about your situation and get right. So really all about mindset. Tactic 2 is remargining your business and get serious about expense management. So we talked a lot about expense management throughout really all 12 tactics, but that was tactic number 2. Tactic number 3 was learn to do more with less, which was really about leverage and maximizing your productivity. Tactic number 4 was focusing your lead generation efforts on finding the motivated buyers and sellers. Number 5 was internalizing the lead conversion process. So lead generation and lead conversion are the 2 most important aspects for any real estate agent, whether rainmaker, individual agent. Number 6 was using internet lead generation strategies. So we talked with Megan Wobenhorst in that session. Number 7 is master seller pricing. So making sure you're pricing the house right and pricing it to sell. Number 8 was master staging strategies. 9 was how to overcome buyer reluctance. Number 10 was creative financing. So we talked with Shane Force in that session. And then number 11 was participating in the market in the moment. And in that session, Mary Beth really highlighted the 4 markets of the moment that she's seeing happen, as well as we talked about REO, short sales, foreclosures. And then 12th, bulletproof your transactions. So really making sure that once you lead generate, once you convert the leads and actually have something under contract, to making sure that you're bulletproofing those transactions, that you have your checklist and you have everything, really to making sure that that deal doesn't fall apart. So with that, I'd love to turn it over to Mary Beth. You can jump in, but I'd love to hear Pat, Kieran, Eric, and Gabby. Thank you for coming on to share some of your ahas or thoughts on what we just covered and mentioned.
And if I could just ask, we also, the part 1 was foundational in understanding how a market shifts, the indicators of market shifting, what the aftermath of it is, in if it's a seller's market versus a buyer's market, and how seasonal and cyclical kind of factors into this. So I know we have some experience on the line, especially with Eric and Pat, the amount of years they've been in the business. If you could just kind of preface how many years you've been in the business and what shifts you have been through, so people can really understand the validity that we have here on the screen, even including Kieran and Gabby, your experience that you've had as well.
Who wants to go?
You're up, Eric.
So, I wrote down, not that I haven't read the Shift book and I didn't tune into many of the sessions, but I did write down so I can get a quick touch on all of these, not to take monopolize too much of this time, but shift tactic number 1, mindset. That's a theme that has to be throughout my business. I'll talk about myself. That's a theme that has to be throughout my business. I think anyone who knows me knows that it is, and it's not always perfect. And certainly, one of the ahas I took away from that was, and I've been speaking to the agents that I coach with, is that we know, and I ask you, do you believe at some point this will be in our rearview mirror, this whole Michigas, as we say in Italian. Right. So it's going to be in our rearview mirror. So the actions we take today, shift tactic number 4, lead gen, is going to set us up for 90 days down the road. And a really good example is, you know, Evan, who's in our program, he's been on the phones 3 to 4 hours a day. And you know, he shared on a call to this morning when we do our 8 a.m. call. He's got like 4 seller leads who want to sell within the next 3 months.
Hey, Eric, is that kind of like going to the gym? I mean, like he's kind of like in the gym 3 to 4 hours a day, right? Imagine those muscles he's going to get. So
notwithstanding my age and his age, you know, and that, but I'm just saying, so, you know, interestingly enough, he's been on the phones making contacts, care calls, circle prospecting, call it what you want. Mindset, his mindset is that he's determined to be successful, so he's on the phones. He's got more leads in this week than I have in the last 2 weeks. Just being transparent, you know? And so that comes with the mindset, shift tactic number 1 and shift tactic number 4. Remargining, you know, my aha with that is, and I don't care if I have a nice pipeline. You know, I've heard this from Gary Keller. I've heard it from Bill Boswell. I've heard it from all the greats, Gene Rivers, Mary Beth, of course. I went out and contacted every one of my, I call them vendors at this point, my lender, my card, you know, and I've got deferences and I've got time to breathe over the next 3 months. And I'll have closings and I'll bank up a bunch of money and then I'll deal with that and I'll renegotiate my payments. Leveraging, this is the, I'll end on this because I can monopolize this whole call. I'm so excited. On the call this morning, we had 11 agents on, and of the 11, I think all will join, but so far we have 8 commitments to join Bold Pivot.
That's awesome.
By the end of today. And you know, for me as a coach, you know, working with other agents and helping them grow their business, that's major leverage. It's major leverage. And it's something that as an agent, for me, I've been to Bold 3 times. I told the group, and I mean this, hopefully they'll keep Bold on a digital platform, or at least offer it in addition to a live Bold. But if they offer Bold on a digital platform every other month, I will take it every other month. That's how powerful Bold is. And to leverage that learning library and that mindset library. So those are the ahas that I took away. Of course, I could expand on lead gen, but I'll share the time.
Thank you, Eric. Those are some really great nuggets. And we have John Prescott, who is one of the leaders of Bold, going to be on our call Tuesday with his wife, Holly Prescott. So you could tune in at
Holly's
2 o'clock.
awesome.
She's amazing. And they're going to have some really great coaching tips, as well as he's going to explain a little bit about what Bold Pivot is.
Well, and the Bold Pivot's only $99. So just put that in perspective, the Bold, when they actually have somebody coming out on site, is like $7.99 per agent. This is $99, and it's going to be mindset driven, as Eric said, as well as getting people prepared to come out of this disruptor. So it's really, in my opinion, a no-brainer for $99.
It will keep you focused 4 days out of the week. 2 days out of the week, you'll be in a 2-hour session. And the reality is many of us pay $100, $200, depending on for a kickboxing gym or a gym, right? So $100 and you're in a 30-day program. I don't know.
Here's what I love. Here's what I love about this. Here, just to chime in. Here's what I love about this Bold. It's not 2 things. 1 day a week for me, I need a little bit more involvement, you know, and then I'm left the rest of the week to figure it out on my own, which is doable. But I like the fact that it's 2 days a week, and you could go to 2 other days if you decide to get into the coaching corner. But 2 days a week, and it's not all day. It's not from 8 to 3.
Yeah.
It's only 2 hours. So you get your medicine, and then you go out and do your you go out and do real life.
And pulling
And
it back into shift is, I think it really tackles a bunch of these tactics all in one shot. Like, it's your dose of
Right.
medicine for probably 8 out of 12 or 12 out of 12. Pat, what do you got for us? Aha.
Ah. Um, so I don't even know. This might be my 4th shift. I'm not even sure. I know when I first started in '84, at least locally, there was a big flood right after that. And I guess it was late '84, '85. So I was only in the market a couple months and there was a major shift.
Like, you mean like an actual, like a flood, like water?
Oh yeah, I mean, like our whole area flooded.
Okay.
Like Wayne, Pompton Lake.
Yeah, so
Park, blah,
that's
blah,
a
blah.
geographical shift,
Yeah,
a local shift, right? Okay.
but it was
That's
still a
something different.
shift.
Yeah,
Nonetheless,
I didn't think about that.
it was a shift. I mean,
Mhm.
the party ended. You know, before that, things were going up. It was a really hot market right before that. So that was my first one, and then I've been in every one since then. I got a lot out of Gene Rivers yesterday.
Mhm.
He was awesome. Gene Rivers was awesome yesterday.
Give us the one thing that hit you.
What he said about new construction, about, you know, everyone's saying, you know, people are saying you can't buy a house through a video. Nobody's going to buy a house through a video. Well, I'm proof that you can buy a house through a video, because my daughter's house sold through a video a couple weeks ago. But he said with people buy new construction all the time, from plans, from paper, you know, it's the same thing. So yeah, that was a big aha for me. And from the beginning, I was thinking this shift was different. But then, especially after listening to him yesterday, it's not different. It's not different than any other one that we've been through before. The only difference is now, I think, is almost everybody can't practice.
Mhm.
But it's not really that different. I think originally we freeze, and then we look to see, you know, what do we have to do to deal with this, and we learn new ways. And I just think a lot of new things are going to come out of this. I think, like, another thing he was saying, that people are going to be looking for houses differently. Not everybody, but there are going to be people that are going to say, I'll look at, you know, 50 houses on a video and go out and look at 4 of them instead of going out and looking at 50 houses. You know, maybe, you know, a lot of the younger people. I think it's, in a way, it's going to be a positive thing, because I think it's going to be a time saver to us.
Well, and Pat, one thing I wanted to
More
say
efficient.
to what you were just saying is, one thing that he mentioned is everyone's gonna have to sharpen their skills with
Mhm.
their virtual listing presentations and virtual buyer consultations.
That's right.
And to kind of go off of what you were just saying, you know, things are going to change how people look at homes and how people view the real estate industry. So one thing I can tell you is Mary Beth and I are making a commitment that in May, we're going to take Gene's advice and we're going to have classes on there on listing presentations virtually, buyer consultations. Maybe we'll have Megan or Kurt, Sean, you know, people who had even been doing this before the coronavirus. So we will be having that at our market center for sure.
I love that idea.
Yeah,
love that.
digital presentation, just what he said,
I
the
could
whole
sit
month
at
of
my
May,
desk.
digital presentation.
I love that idea. Yeah, I think it's going to be a time saver to us. And, you know, I think, you know, fear is always a better motivator. People are always more motivated by fear of loss is the best motivator
Yep.
that there is. So
Mhm.
like when it comes to, you know, coming out of the gate now and whatever we're going to be listing now or in the next couple of weeks is, you know, people don't have the answers and they're afraid of what's going on. So I think, again, pricing is always key, but pricing is even more key. Pricing, staging.
Yeah.
Key.
So with that, I want to shift over to maybe Gabby. I know you've been on a couple of our calls in the last couple sessions. What are some ahas or what are some things you're experiencing right now?
From being this is my first shift, it was totally different. I learned how, because I'm always the person that I always felt like I always needed to go out and hold everybody's hand and be there for every waking moment, from home inspection to opening a door. And at first, it was like giving me major anxiety because I was like, I can't be there, and this is driving me insane. but I learned how to sit back, and I've actually been able to utilize more of my time and get a lot more done from sitting at a computer and figuring everything out and strategizing a lot differently. Even though I've been like paying, like showing agents and everything, but that $25 and is well worth it to me. Yeah, the other day I was actually called like the mob boss of real estate, which I thought was hilarious. Because they're doing a renovation loan in Jefferson Township, and they were extremely nervous. It's their first house. They both work at Morristown Medical, and I wanted to like really help them. So I had the contractor there, the home inspector, radon, everybody was there all at once to make everything go seamless as possible. And just to do that from sitting home and videoing them and being there as support, even though I wasn't there physically, meant a lot to me. So I think that was like one of the biggest things that I've learned, how to like actually just work differently in different strategy
Yeah.
and not
Sounds
drive
like
down the
tactic
parkway.
number one, your mindset, right? Mind
Yeah.
shift.
And using leverage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Leveraging through others. That's right. One of the tactics.
Yeah, I think.
And being that it's your first shift, I guess the question is, how's your pipeline doing right now? I know you were working on some listings coming on and buyers, and what challenges have you had and how have you overcome some of those?
With my buyers, I'm having a little trouble with their credit due to like the new regulations for mortgages, but I have them working with credit repairs. So once everything's fixed, we're gonna get them houses. Listings, I have a woman in Rawway. She's older, so I have my uncle going there with an iPad tomorrow and gonna sit there. So I can do the listing appointment from Verona. So that's how I've been doing that.
Great. So being creative, I guess that was another tactic, was getting creative, using creativity to figure this out.
Mm-hmm.
Kieran,
Yep.
what do you have for us?
Yeah.
I see Eric itching though. Eric, you got something to add to that?
He's always got something to say. He's primed.
No,
He's
he's dying, thirsting. He always has such great nuggets.
Yes, definitely. And aha for me is just don't let the time pass you by. I mean, you can't come out of this pandemic as the same agent that you went into the pandemic as. I mean, you guys talked about some quote from Abe Lincoln about if you had like 6 hours a day to chop down a tree, you'd use 4 like sharpening your axe. I mean, you gotta
6.
you gotta perfect your craft and come up with new ways to do what you're doing with the virtual stuff. I was thinking about the virtual listing appointment buyer consultation just for someone with me who has a bunch of kids and crazy schedules and stuff, and how awesome that would be to be able to just hop on a call real quick. Maybe the wife's at soccer practice, the husband's somewhere else, and you could just hop on with your agent and get it done. I think it would be amazing for everybody. Another thing was just that the people that are purposeful now with their time, like Eric and everyone that's in coaching and other people that are just super focused on creating new stuff. I mean, they're gonna come out on top, and I feel like the playing field as a whole in competition, agents that have competition with each other, it's like it's even now. So people who are doing like no business and like they don't know what's what, if they're focusing on new ways of doing things, they're gonna blow these people out of the water by the time this thing's over.
That's right.
And that was something
Pat is not going to let that happen though. She's right in there.
I've been through too many of these. This one ain't getting me.
Yeah, she's just
She ain't got no
Going
time for
out on
that.
my terms.
like a chameleon.
Just to chime in on what Kieran just said, and I know it's been, spoken about throughout this call. I did 3 virtual listing consultations through, I was at the time, now I'm using Zoom, but I was using GoToMeeting. I got them on. We've also done 3 buyer consultations, which are really cool. Our buyer consultation is a flip chart, so we just put it up on the screen. We share our screen and we talk through the cool thing is I'm not in love with being a buyer's agent, but I do the buyer consultation and I have the script, I have the script in front of me and I just share my screen. I go on, I do one of these, so they can't see my eyes when I need to read. And I just flip back and forth. They don't care. And I'm doing the buyer consultation. I think we look to sign buyers, get them signed up with us on a buyer agency relationship agreement. And with the sellers, I'm 1 for 3, I'm 1 for 3 and it works. Here's the interesting thing. Again, this is all mindset. I did the buyer consultation, the listing consultation. I did my script. I showed the book that I delivered to them. I had it up on my screen. And at the end, they're like, okay, let's do it. At that point, I was going to go upstairs and have lunch. This was at like 11 in the morning. So it was like 12:30, I was done. They decided to list with me. I said, okay, I'll go have lunch and I'll go look at your email in 30 minutes and you'll see. And I said, well, you know what, guys, hold on. You have 5 more minutes with me? Sure. I just pulled up the listing right there, all the documents, and filled it out, emailed it to them while they were still on the phone, on the computer with me, on the Zoom or whatever it was. And I said, go to your emails. I just want to make sure you don't have any challenges signing. And but when we hung up off that Zoom call, I had a signed listing agreement, which I'm going to take photos today.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Convenient, efficient, productivity. But we have heard all week and the last couple of weeks, double down on the activities. Your point, you got 1 out of 3. That's not typical for Melnikov. He usually gets 2 out of 3 at least. So to know that his ratio might be 1 out of 3 right now, knowing that those other 2 are in the pipeline for call them back to see when they are ready, but double down. And Adele DeMoro said on Tuesday, her script that she's telling people to list is right now is a really good time to get that paperwork done. Why don't we get the paperwork done so that the minute that this lifts, you're able to hit the market like that. And so then you're getting those signed agreements and what you can start marketing basically.
It just takes some of the fear away too. When you got some signed agreements in your drawer, it takes a lot of the fear away.
Yeah, you can start calculating what you potentially got in the pipeline to be as soon as this opens up. And Mark King said on one of our initial calls, we're going to have the best 24 months. The next 24 months are going to be the best. The next 3 to 6 are going to suck.
Mm-hmm.
And so we just got to get through that. Go ahead, Eric.
No, it is true. And I've heard those calls. And again, just on this call, Karen said it, that people who do what you just said, which is double down and stay active, are going to come out of this on top. There's going to be, in the last shift, in the 2008 meltdown, the fraudulent mortgage bubble bursting shift, we went from, I think, 1.6 million, we dropped 40% in agent count. We got down to 900,000 agents. Yeah. The transaction count only dropped 25%. Right. So there was a net increase of available transactions for the agents left standing, and those agents.
Say the same thing. No, I agree with you on that, Eric. And that's what I've seen in every shift, and that's always the bright side of a shift. Is if you can hang in there, that you're going to lose a lot of people. And what's a little different about this one is these people are getting unemployment. So they're going to be getting maybe $600 a week. So that's going to make them even fat and happier to stay home on their couch and a little less motivated to go back to work, which makes us laughing at me, Mary Beth.
Well, I'm just thinking that no, people are going to they're going to get sick of their house and they're going to want to get the heck out. Yeah. Or they're going to go, I really kind of like what I've worked for and I found a little comfort in doing things at home instead of having to go on the road. And so with that, you'll have some people who really do want to have this interaction instead of being out there. You're going to have
And you know what
both.
else?
And if you're not
You
the
know what
agent
else
that can be flexible, you're out.
You know what else I think we're going to lose in this shift too, and that I started focusing on a little bit, is some older agents, some agents
It's
that
time
you know
to
have-
retire. Time to retire.
that are getting ready to retire.
Right.
So I've been reaching out to some people that I know, like, how you doing? Like, how's retirement looking? Did you think you're gonna be retiring too soon? I mean, there's a handful of people that I don't think will come back, and people that were probably doing, you know, 4 to 6 million a year. So the way I'm looking to see, maybe I'm looking to get the referral business.
That's right.
Well, why
I knew
not?
Patty knew the answer to that one. I was going to ask you, what's the fruit there? There's a twofold fruit. A, there's profit share, and they have some influence. They might be able to bring other people over to the company with them. And B is they got a referral line that I'm sure they would want their referrals handled properly through a professional. And Patty's got the relationship with them. And why not just give it to Pat if they're going to go out? Buy their business, buy a 25%
Buy their
referral.
book,
Yep.
put them on your team
Yep.
as a ghost agent, whatever, and you can do the business, and they can get a retirement annuity out of their
Great point,
database.
Eric.
That's very
Great
smart.
point. Don't let them just go
Yep.
into retirement or referral. Let them come over and on your team.
You're right. Yeah.
And they could stay in referral on your team so they got no expenses, and yet you can still be giving them profits from their
It's called succession planning. You know, retirement planning, succession planning. How do we transition from full-time into retirement and still get that you know, $2,000 a month or whatever it is?
You know, and when you're in this shift, there's always an opportunity. There's always an opportunity. And I think, you know, the first couple weeks, you know, we were a little, you know, everyone was a little shocked by everything, but now we've been down for a month, 5 weeks, 6 weeks, 6 years, however long it's been, you know, and you're starting to think of more opportunities. There's always an opportunity. And a big opportunity that's going to happen without us even trying is people dropping out of the business. People staying on their couch and just not getting off it.
And so to Jean's point, now is the time to gain market share.
Absolutely.
So that when it comes back, you got extra units in your pocket.
Mm-hmm.
And also, I know we have just a few minutes, is video. Even Gene Rivers, who is not on, you know, he's been in the business for quite a while. He's saying you got to get out there on video. Mike McAllowitz got to get out there on video and let people see you. To Kieran's point, is the playing field is evened out. You know, if brand new agent who just got the license wants to start doing educational videos to consumers, guess who's going to be in the mind of the consumer? They only know what they perceive, and if you sound intelligent and valid, that's what they're going to listen to. So
I forget who said it, but earn the mind share now for the market share later. I forget who said that this week, because we've been on so many Zoom calls, but that line really resonated with me, because right now it is all about video. It's about getting out there, making the calls, earning the mind share, so you can then earn the market share later.
That's right.
Great. I mean, if you just love on your people, I've had some awesome conversations the last couple days with colleagues. I've had amazing conversations, and just past people, even some people that I haven't talked to in a couple years. Conversations were amazing, and now I'm top of mind and coming from a good place, you know. It's been pretty cool.
With that, I think that's a good segue to wrap up this call. I know people have 11:30 commitments, so I just want to say thank you again to Pat, Eric, Gabby, Kieran. Thank you so much for coming on this call, sharing all of your ahas. We really appreciate it. And I want to say thank you, Mary Beth, for really doing this together and really, you know, being able to work alongside you and be able to learn. You know, this is my first time really reading this shift book, so it was a great opportunity to do this with you. For those of you who have gotten,
I want to just echo that. Thank you guys for doing the, you know, being consistent and showing up and going through the shift book, because it motivated me to take it off my shelf and, you know, it's you know, actually go through it and underline and
Eric,
and the cool thing.
If you've been enjoying the consistency, it's not over.
We have another opportunity for you.
Because on Monday, we're going to be doing the MREA at 11 o'clock in the morning. So we're going to keep our MREA calls. Well, we're shifting from shift to the MREA. So
nice.
That's right.
So for those of you who have been tuning in, we'll be doing this starting 11 o'clock on Monday. Tuesday, we've got our What the Tech sales rally. And then Wednesday, we'll be going more into MREA at 11 o'clock. So thank you again for everything. And we'll see
And
you
real
guys
quick,
on Monday.
before you guys hang up,
Poor thing.
if anybody who sees this wants to be a fly on the wall on our 4 o'clock coaching call today, we have a group coaching call in PC. Text me or send me an email and I'll send you the link. You can be off camera, so you don't have to be involved. You can just listen in and you can hear what we're talking about and what we're going, who knows, maybe pick a nugget out of that and take it into your business or whatever. If you want to join us, it's specifically for coaching clients, coaching agents, but today we're going to invite everybody on. Whoever wants to be on, you can get that
And for
link.
those of you who are not with us, just find Eric John Melnikov on Facebook. He connected to my page, Matt's page, because we're also live on my Facebook right now. So if you are not with our Keller Williams Prosperity family, it is totally fine for you to plug in. Just shoot one of us a message and we'll get you into some of these awesome opportunities to stay productive during this time. We thank everybody. And Matt, we'll see you guys Monday, hopefully, right?
See you Monday.
Thanks a lot, guys.
Or yes.
Thanks, guys.
Okay.
Bye,
Thanks,
guys.
guys.
Bye, guys.